What is going on, guys? It's your boy ShadyMikeGaming, and we are back with another NBA 2K22 signature shot. Today we've got the #1 overall pick in the draft, Cade Cunningham, and oh my goodness, was this jump shot difficult to make. First and foremost, let me just say, if y'all like this type of content, the signature shots, things of that nature, please subscribe to the channel for more. Turn on those notifications to join the notification squad. I see y'all in the comment section early. Appreciate y'all, and be sure to hit the like button on the video. It helps a lot. Leave me a comment to get me back in that YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate you. Let's talk a little bit about Cade Cunningham. I don't know if I gotta like start screening the YouTube videos, like the winners of the polls. His jump shot was close to impossible to make. That's how difficult his jump shot was. That's how long it took. I've got 3 Cade Cunningham. I made 3 Cade Cunningham jumpers. Just kidding, that's a lie. I made 30 Cade Cunningham jumpers and was just going between them, trying to see which one I like best. Maybe at the end of the video, I'll do a little montage of all of the different Cade Cunningham shots that I ended up not using. But yes, it is crazy, all of the different ideas that I had for Cade, trying to get him right. Cade is such a special player, and you can tell why people are really excited about his game. Get some comparisons to Luka. I mean, for me, I feel like he reminds me play style of Brandon Roy. I think, and then you package him in the Tyreke Evans body. That's my comparison for Cade Cunningham, but he's going to be an exciting player. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a couple of the different jump shot variations, and we're going to break it down and talk all about Cade. So let's get right into it. All right, so first let's go ahead and take a look at Cade Cunningham's base, right? And there's not a lot to his base. His base was actually very easy to capture in terms of the details that we're looking for from Cade, right? Let's talk about the basics. Number one, Cade keeps his legs at a moderate, not like they're not super far apart, but he's got a moderate amount of space between his legs. When he goes to shoot, I think they come in a little bit closer, but number one thing is it's not his feet coming together, it's his knees. His knees come together, and he makes a motion as if he's about to sit in a chair. And that's like the number one thing we want to look at from Cade, right? Like we're looking at the angle, and that's the number one thing. His butt is going to be behind his heels. That's the number one thing that we're looking for in terms of that angle and that orientation. As Cade brings the shot up, Cade is a one motion shooter. That was part of the reason his jump shot was so hard to make. What you're going to notice is when he brings the ball up, that's all there is to the base. His knees come together and he scrunches down a little bit. What you're going to notice is when he brings the ball up, his he really straightens out the shot. Once the ball gets perfectly even with his nose, you're going to notice that his elbow is still going to be facing downwards at a varying degree. It does depend on the type of shot, but that's one of the details that we were trying to capture. Another thing that you're going to notice as he brings the shot together, when he elevates, doesn't get a whole lot of elevation, but he does have a slight sway to the shot. Now, Cade, when he does shoot and jump and land, he usually lands in or about the same space. So there's like, notice, like, look at where he takes off from and look where he lands. He's literally landing in the same spot by a matter of inches. So he's not jumping forward a whole lot. He's really elevating. He does kick his legs ever so slightly, but for the most part he's landing right in the vicinity of where he took off. So again, all of the craziness with Cade is the release point and the motion of his shot before, with his offhand. That's the craziness with Cade. The base is actually pretty simple. So let's go and get into a couple of the variations of his jump shot that I was able to come up with. All right, so when we talk about the releases for Cade Cunningham, and this is the way I did it. I saw Cade shooting a couple different ways between college and summer league and stuff like that. I really wanted to use just summer league footage, but it was just, I couldn't really tell what was going on with his shot from the angles I was getting. So number one thing, I'm going to show 3 releases that I like, and we're going to go through step by step so we can talk about what we like and which one we want to use. So this first combination here, when it comes to this release, and this is release 135 and WNBA 4. The reason we use these 2 releases is because it has the perfect release point, that super low release point. I don't think that to my understanding, this is the only way. These 2 releases, combining these 2, are the only way to get, number one, the proper release point and the one motion shot. They're both one motion shots. I do believe they're the 2 lowest releases in the game, save maybe release 12 and 67. So putting them together, being the 2 motion shots, the one motion shots, is just the way to go. It gives you a smooth one motion release that's got that really low release point. That's exactly what we're looking for from Cade. Now, one other thing too, what we want to look for, number one, we get that release point, it's really low. Number 2, when he shoots, you're gonna see he has kind of like a super odd flare with the offhand where it just goes straight up and outwards. He does do that when he shoots. And another thing too that we really wanted to capture is his shooting arm. It extends all the way, and so that eliminates a lot of the releases that we have, because we have to make sure we do get that exaggerated wrist and, you know, the full extension of the shooting arm. So that's the first release that I came up with. So again, guys, when we come into the menu, that's the first jump shot that we talked about. Base 84, release 135, blended to 30 quick with WNBA 4. Really like it. It was just a couple small things that I just felt, didn't really look like Cade, but I really like this one. This was the one we came up with on stream. So shout out to the stream gang. You guys held me down because this was really, really hard. Let's go ahead and move on to the next release. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at at our second release. So the number one thing, we're maintaining all of the features of Cade's jump shot, right? Those knees come together when the ball is equal with his nose, when the ball is directly halfway equal with his nose, that elbow is still facing downward. You'll notice on this shot, I think that it's a little bit higher. Now, the problem with this release is, unfortunately, it's just, you can't get the release point. You can't get the release point that low. So you'll see his elbow still pointing down, but not pointing down as much as the other, or, as it should be. And it unfortunately, we're blending two motion releases, so it's going to be a 2 motion shot, and Cade has a 1 motion shot. Most people wouldn't even notice this, but like you can see, like it stops here, which is a very natural shooting spot for many players. You notice, remember when we were talking about his arm being at that weird angle, we do have that fixed now on the shot. See how much is straightened up. This is a very normal set point for a lot of players. It's in front of over his right eye, right at that hairline, not above his head, but just Cade is lower than that in real life. But the number one thing that it really fixes is, number one, that arm goes forward. So now instead of just going straight, so that arm goes forward and it kind of spreads apart, and you still have that exaggerated wrist on the release. So if you can get over the release point and you can get over it being a 2 motion shot, this is clearly the best shot that you're going to come up with, Cade. But in terms of the release point being lower, there's just no way. One thing I really like about this release too is, watch this, the way that Cade drops his arms looks really weird to me until I realized that that's how he drops his arms. Like every time he shoots, he kind of like spreads his arms and just drops them to his side. So that's like a really weird detail that we were able to capture with this release that looks really good. I know I said we were only sharing 3 releases, but technically is going to be 4. With this release, with the release 12, you can also just substitute release 12, and I'll show you all that in a bit. You can substitute it with WNBA 4, and that'll give you a little bit lower of a release point, but then it brings back the issue of him not having that straight arm. So it's with Cade, it's a lot. It's all about options, because this, you know, it's very tough to actually get this, you know, exactly as it should be in real life. This is the type of jump shot you'd have to have mocapped. So this is the shot with release 12 and release 141 that gives you that weird arm motion when he drops his arms. What I was talking about in the other screen was that you can also substitute release 12 for WNBA 4 to give you a very similar shot. You know, it's really good. It's, you know, the release point's a little bit better. It's a little bit lower, so this is an option too. One thing I wanted to say too about this shot with between WNBA 4 or release 12, whichever you feel like using, this is the best looking shot in terms of the moving jump shots. They all look really good when you use this form. All right, and we're back with our third and final release, and I really like this one. This one's really good. The really good thing about it is it really captures a lot of the things that we've seen from Cade, especially from a release point of view. The number one thing about this release that's cool is it keeps that space in between his face and the ball when he releases. It doesn't come up over his head, so that's really good. This one has a great offhand too. So the number one thing with this release, when you talk about the release point, is it's going to be the same exact thing, right? Once that ball is just about halfway through his nose, he still has that elbow facing downwards, and it's just I think there's a little itty bitty hitch there, but you can't see it in game. It's really quick. It's one motion. It's a one motion shot. In the essence of a video game, I think there's a little bit of a pause, but you don't really see it. So I do consider it a one motion shot, and you really capture all of the basics that we're looking for. Really, the angle that he releases the shot at, it's more forward than upwards. He's still got that exaggerated wrist, but the thing I like about this one is just sometimes when we saw Cade shooting and shooting the ball forward, like, yes, that offhand would go forward, but not that much, but it would still be pretty level with his shooting arm, and that's what I was looking for. So this is a really nice shot, just in terms of getting some, you know, just it looking good, especially on some of these angles. So I really like them all. I think the second one is the best technically, but I just don't know how Cade is going to be shooting when the year starts. So all of these look like certain jump shots that he's taken, but just due to certain inconsistencies and him shooting differently every now and again, I didn't really know which one I should put forth as my Cade Cunningham jumper official. I think I would probably either use this one or the second one. The first one's really good too. You know what I mean? It was just me, just certain things that bothered me about it, but I still think it's better than a lot of what's out there anyway. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Not one, not two, but 3 Cade Cunningham jump shots. So let me know what you all think. Of course, it's a full signature edit. I think this video is going to honestly end up being 30 minutes long, so it is what it is, guys. We just do it for the community. Let's keep it moving. Let's get right into everything else. All right, y'all, and this is Jump Shot 3, the third one that we came up with. I really like it. It looks really good. One thing too, I'll say, if you are a little bit worried about the smoothness of this jumper, or if you want to make it smoother, you can actually bump the blend up to 60, 65, something, just, you know, anywhere, you know, I usually would bump it to 60, and the shot gets so much smoother. The only thing I don't like about doing that is just due to that WNBA 4 release, his offhand comes off the ball a little bit too quick, and sometimes that causes issues, especially with the moving jumpers, can make some of those shots a little bit glitchy. But you know, absolutely, I recommend, you know, having that, you know, right around that 50 point, and this is, you know, another really good looking shot for Cade Cunningham. And as we move over into the moving jump shots for the free throw, first and foremost, we go with the Steph Curry free throw for 2 reasons. Number one, the form is almost dead perfect accurate. But the number one thing about it is, just like his jump shot for Cade Cunningham, it's a 1 motion free throw, and there's only like 2 1 motion free throw options in there. I know Aaron Gordon's one, I think D'Angelo Russell's one, and they don't look right. So we go with the Steph Curry free throw for the dribble pull-up. Once you see Cade Cunningham do his pull-ups, you'll notice he often kind of flares that right leg out. Now, a lot of times with Cade Cunningham's off the dribble game, he's not going to do a pull-up. Cade Cunningham loves to stop, plant his feet, do a snatch back, and set his feet and shoot. So there was not a lot of footage of the pull-up, but for the ones that I did see, I decided to go with the Trey Burke pull-up. Some people in the stream wanted KD. I honestly don't really like the KD pull-up for anybody, Kevin Durant included. For the spin jumper, couldn't find any footage of this. I actually based the spin jumper off of his post fade that we found. So when he does a post fade, he just has no kick. His legs stay perfectly straight and parallel with each other. So that's why on that spin coming back the other way, you'll see that he doesn't do the kick. He does the kick going one way, but going back to his left, he doesn't do the kick. So that's why I went with Steph Curry. For this step back, not a lot of step backs from Cade Cunningham, but when he does do the step back, he does just a standard step back. He's not doing a lot of double step backs or anything like that. It's usually a quick standard step back with not a lot of vert, but he does have a slight fade as he shoots. He lands in the same spot, but he does have a slight fade. The best one that was able to capture that motion is the Harrison Barnes hop jumper. As we move over to the layups, this was a no-brainer. I believe the default for the layup package was it was the fundamental package, but we switched this over to floater specialist. Cade Cunningham is around the rim, all about touch, does a whole bunch of floaters. Even when there's contact, he gets the contact and really floats the ball up there. You can watch 6 to 8 minute montages of Cade Cunningham finishing at the rim, and they're almost all floaters. So we're gonna go with the floater specialist layup package. Feel really good about that. There were some times when I felt maybe Westbrook or just the basic the default fundamentals could be an alternative, but for me, I'm rolling with the floater specialist. For the go-to dunk packaging, let's talk about Cade as a dunker. He does a lot of basic dunks, and I don't want to short sell him on his athleticism. Cade Cunningham is really athletic, but he's not super flashy. So what he does, and it's just his size, his strength, he just makes everything look so easy. But so for the go-to, we go with the athletic one-handers off of 1. You'll see him do some basic one-handers off of 2. Every now and again, we saw him do some clips and some highlights of some athletic one-handers off of 2 feet. Now, on the break and in drills and layup lines and things of that nature in high school, we did catch Cade doing some windmills here and there, so that's a lot of fun. I did go ahead and throw that in there. We saw a few quick drops, a few two-handed dunks. He didn't hang on the rim very long at all. We were able to see Cade doing some reverse dunks. Now this one was tricky because for the reverse dunk, I actually felt like it looked like the actual motion he did looked more like the reverses off of 2, but he jumped off of 1 foot. So I will leave this to to you all, if you want to do clutch reverses off of 1 or clutch reverses off of 2. For the sake of the video, I'll say clutch reverses off of 1, but for my personal, I'm going to be using clutch reverses off of 2. We did see him do a between the leg dunk one time in you know, on a break, so I did throw that in there for fun. Obviously the between the legs dunks is only for PC only. That's the only way you're going to be able to get that dunk package using 2K tools, so keep that in mind. We're going to move over to the post game for Cade. Now Cade is a big guard. He's 6. They list him at 6'8" at Oklahoma. I think in the NBA they list him at 6'7", and I think he's probably closer to 6'6". You know, the hair is going to do some work there, of course. But when so Cade loves backing down smaller guards, but he rarely does actual fadeaways. He passes out of the post, he just attacks the rim out of the post, and he does hooks all the time. We got a whole bunch of footage of him doing post hooks, but in the times that Cade Cunningham did do a fadeaway, I mean, he didn't kick his legs, he just kept his legs straight, and you'll see that with the normal package. So that's why we go with post, fade normal, no real leg kick there for the most part. It stayed very straight and upright. For the hook, again, it's like he's wrapping his whole body around and pushing that ball up there with his whole body. So we went with post hook Pro 2. We had a whole bunch of footage there of him doing some hook shots. It's a move that he really likes in the paint. For the hop shot, I again just tried to pick the one that had the least amount of a kick, so it's very straightforward, not very bouncy or anything like that. Post spin shot is small, that I do believe that is the default. Now we're going to go ahead and move into the handles, which is a really fun part of Cade Cunningham's game. He's so fundamentally sound, and he's a really good player, and he really doesn't have wasted motions. He does a really good job, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, the number one thing about Cade Cunningham when we do his size ups are when he does his size ups, every time he does a crossover or a size up, you'll notice Cade Cunningham is moving forward. He's gaining ground. So that's what I tried to capture in terms of the handles and the size up. Is anytime Cade is doing a crossover or something, he's moving forward, putting pressure on the defense. So for the signature size up, which is just, you're going to be your basic crosses, not your combo, that you can, these are the ones you can chain together yourself. We go with Ja Morant because you can notice every time he does a cross between his legs, he's moving forward and advancing on his opponent. For the signature combo, the Kevin Durant package is really good. I think it's very accurate, almost to the T of some of the crossovers that we've used. So I think this is the most accurate. This is the only one that I can find him doing exactly, but I want to give you all some alternatives too. I think the Paul George one is a little bit flashy, and you see how he's advancing towards the enemy. I think, towards his defender. I think that the Paul George one is great. I think it's a really good option for him, a little bit more flashy. I'll tell you my personal favorite, and the one that I'm going to go with, is the Damian Lillard package. Again, look at the pressure, look at how he walks up towards his defender, puts the pressure. In college, this helped him set up his mid-range game a lot, and I believe that it's going to do exactly the same thing for Cade Cunningham once he gets into the league. All right, guys, and that's going to do it for Cade Cunningham. Again, I know this one took a while to get out, but we do have our next poll up. It looks like it's going to be Jamal Murray. When you're watching this video, I hope it's Friday. I hope that I was able to get this video out by Friday. It's going to be super awkward if I didn't, because I'm recording it now, but it should be Friday. So we're going to be streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/ShadyMikeGaming, 10 p.m. Eastern time. we're going to be working on Jamal Murray's jump shot on stream, so we'll go ahead and give that a shot. And we're going to keep it pushing with the signature shots. So I wanted to say again, if you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel with your notifications on. Please like this video, leave a comment for that algorithm. Y'all know I've been out of the game for a little bit, and for more, also just to stay up to date with me, follow me on all of my social networks at ShadyMikeGaming on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Other than that, guys, it is your boy Shady Mike. I am signing out. Peace. Threes.